Welcome to the Rotary Club of Kerrville. We got a new microphone in here. Yay. It's so good to see each of you. It's so good to see new faces every week. I want to welcome back, and if you can help me welcome back Neil Masterson, who's been here for the first. We have almost a full room today, and it's just exciting to see us grow back with our in-person membership. So thank you for coming. I'd like to remind you to mute your phones, silence your cell phones while you're here, but before you do, check in on Facebook and let everybody know you're attending your Rotary meeting. Also, for our guests online, I'd ask you to mute your computers so that we can give all our time and attention to the speaker. At this time, I'd like to invite Ron Bliley to lead us in the invocation and the pledge.
This is called the prayer of St. Francis. I think it's something that Rotary signifies. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow, excuse me, sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may be not so much to seek to be consoled as to console, to understand, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and in dying that we are born to eternal life. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. That was so very nice. At this time, I'd like to invite Clint Morris to the podium to introduce our speaker.
Wow, I hope I don't speak too loudly. I've been used to really piping up here. This is first class. Well, I'm not a native Kerrville resident. And so when people talk about the Arcadia, I'm fairly unknowledgeable about its history and what it's meant to the community. And so I'm particularly looking forward to hearing our speaker today. She moved here with her husband in 1992. She and her husband have two children who graduated from Tybee and UT. She worked as an administrative assistant for 19 years for Congressman Lamar Smith, and now continues part-time helping Congressman Roy. She now, however, is the chief fundraiser for the Arcadia. And so let's give a warm Rotary welcome to our speaker, Ann Overby, who will tell us about the Arcadia.
I'm going to time myself because I can talk all day. So, and I wanted to leave enough time for question and answer. So I'm going to hit my start button. You want to get us started? Tell me where to click. Sorry. No, you're good. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. Microphone up, tall girl. Is that it? There we go. We started on this path during the pandemic and everything shut down. And y'all are the biggest group I've spoken to in over a year. So thank you for having me here. We're excited. Do we figure out how to get going?
Yes, you should be able to get going, but I'm trying to get this off of your screen.
Oh, that's fine. I wanted to say, I've done a lot of different hats. And so a lot of you I know, I've been to a lot of Rotary meetings, but I come here today representing the Arcadia Live Theater. As he mentioned, if you grew up in Kerrville or went to high school in the 50s or the 60s, you're very familiar with the theater. But if you moved here when I did in the 90s, like 30 years ago, you have no idea what's downtown behind those doors. So it's a challenge and an excitement for us to reach back to the old Kerrville people, but yet introduce it to those who are new to Kerrville to show them what's going on. Our mission statement was to provide vibrant and diverse entertainment while preserving the life and the history of downtown. And we take that mission very passionately because we know that we are or can be the cornerstone for downtown. And when we have a show, everybody wins downtown and everybody wins in Kerrville. We had a big show Friday night and I started talking to some of the people who were there and they were spending the night in Kerrville. They drove in from out of town and are staying. So we're helping to get that cornerstone going.
We're working on it.
Oh, not yet.
No, keep going.
Keep going. Can you just hit that button and it'll go forward?
Sure.
No? Oh, you know what? We're gonna get into play. Here we go, from the beginning.
Trying to get this off of your screen.
Oh, that's not bothering me at all. Okay, now see if it'll go with that arrow. There we go. All right, I think we got it figured out now. Let me backtrack and tell you who we are. It's a nonprofit that has the theater, and the nonprofit started 11 years ago, and it was Kerrville's 4th on the river. They had one event a year, and it was July 4th. Have any of y'all been to the July 4th party in the park? There you go. In 2019, we had almost 10,000 people, and that sounds frightening in today's world, but it was a lot of fun if you were there. Robert Earl Keen brought in Tyler Childers, and it was a great summer. Eventually, things changed though. Go ahead and flip to the next one. What happened was Stephen Shawnehuser ended up owning the Arcadia Theater, and after many years and a lot of plans of what to do with it, he decided to donate it to our nonprofit after seeing what was going on in the river every summer. So we received the theater in November of 2018. I was hired in February of 2019 to help them start fundraising. We drew plans. David Martin is the architect on our project. Kevin Bernhard was the construction company. We did everything local to get it going. One of the first things we did was go to the city, and we were awarded $400,000, Mark's gonna quote me if I'm wrong, $400,000 of hot fund money, and that is hotel occupancy tax for every head in a bed. There was a couple of pennies collected over the last 30 years for the Arcadia. So that money was given back to us. And then we were also awarded an EIC grant for $600,000. So that got us our first $1 million to help us get out and go. We received a matching grant from the Callow Foundation of $500,000. And we actually met that match by June. And so we were getting along, but then the pandemic did come in and it canceled our July 4th last year. We were a little bit slow on our opening because of the pandemic. And then we did open in September to smaller and smaller crowds as it went on. I wanted to show you some of the history of the pictures of the Arcadia. Those are 3 of them in the 1920s. And if you look in that middle one, you can see that that is actually the original blade. In the theater business, you don't call it a sign, you call it a blade. And so that is the original blade. So when we took the neon one down, everybody thought, I'm sorry, one more. Back up, I'm too close. Now, is that better? Okay, awesome. So when we took that blade down, they thought we were messing with the original blade. That's the original blade. All right. The picture on the left is what the theater looked like in the 1950s, and we know that based on that movie. I don't think it was critically acclaimed, but we did confirm that it was in the 1950s. And the picture on the right is how it has set since it closed in 1989 for the past 30 years. This is a side-by-side of the renovation that we've done with the theater. On the left is the original. On the right is our interpretation of it. The relief underneath the word Arcadia is the actual original stone, and the little corners, the corbels, are original as well. We did find some original rock around the posters, but it had been damaged when it went through a renovation. So we did a pretty good job, we think. Let's see, David Simpson. What's Simpson's first name? Austin Simpson is his. Dwayne, thank you. I can think of his boys, but I can't think of Dwayne. Dwayne Simpson, local craftsman, did all the ironwork on the gate and the mirrors and some of our stuff inside too. Flip to the next one. And he also created those film reels up inside there. So in 1948, the theater went through a complete renovation and it became a movie-only theater, and it was called a modern movie theater. And so what we did was save that Art Deco look from that renovation and updated the carpet. We kept the TV movie boxes, and like I said, Dwayne constructed those film reels up in the top for us. We ran out of a little money of carpet going up the stairs, so we just painted them red, the color of our logo, and it actually turned to be one of the best things we did was paint those stairs red. They're pretty cool. If you did grow up here in the 50s and 60s, that spot on the left was called the cry room, and it's where people took fussy babies, or apparently if you had a hot date, you could steal a kiss in there too if you could get in. And so we have turned that into the bar. We do have a full mixed liquor license at the theater. A little before, when it opened in 1926, the theater was a vaudeville theater. There was an orchestra pit and an organ actually down underneath there. And the picture on the right is where the original stage was with the wall on the back. And then I kind of take you through this process. The next thing we did was add a deck on the back. So we took a lot of, it was a fun day watching that metal go in. And while we had the crane there, we hoisted the neon sign back up on the back of the building. And you can see the clouds were coming in. It was about 30 miles an hour. And those guys were smoking and stomping out cigarettes and smoking and stomping out cigarettes, but it worked. So it was a fun day. And that's what we ended up with, was a back deck that overlooks the river. That became a naming opportunity for the nonprofit, and that is the Happy State Bank deck. And it is the perfect place to enjoy some music outside. We still have some naming opportunities available in the theater. If anybody would like one, see me later. All right. And another one of our naming opportunities is the Antler Alley. And this is a really cool space that was added to downtown that wasn't there before. And it's just the space between two buildings, between our building and the Fasken Oil Company's building. And we are in the process of still fundraising all the money for that with former Tybee high school graduates. And they are going to name that the Antler Alley. And like I said, it turned into be a really cool space between the building. Here is a before. For those of you who have never been inside the theater, that is the gut of it, what we had. And what we're doing as a nonprofit to help raise our operating expenses is we sell memberships. We have 120, a 250, and a $500 membership. And we have sold a ton of those in order to bring us in constant money monthly. And we're also selling chairs. And I think we're up to about 75 chairs since I made this slide. So it's kind of a musical chair. The chairs aren't in the same spot in any one given time, but you can find your name if you buy a chair. Chairs cost us $177, which is insane to buy one chair. And so we sell it for $199. We're really not making money, but if you'll help us buy a chair, we'll be very happy. They are very comfortable, I should say as well. That is a bit of a panoramic picture. So what we did was we knocked out 3 giant holes in the back wall and put garage doors that go up and down. And we didn't realize how that was going to help us in the very beginning because of the pandemic. In the fall, we were able to open the doors and face our musicians to the back, and people could sit outside and listen to music. So that was an advantage for us. Not every band likes the doors up or the curtains open, but as we go along, we get to utilize those. And that is a picture of the completed stage. Standing room in the theater is 700 people. We haven't had that yet. Seated at 325 and banquets at 225. We did have 280 last Friday night in the theater. It was full, it wasn't packed, but we are getting closer and closer to getting to those numbers. Per the governor's orders of Texas, we can be open at 100%. We are easing into that number as people's confidence grows coming back out. And we've only purchased 325 chairs so far. Here is some pictures of some of the early programming that we did when we first opened. I hope y'all are aware of Big Seed. It's a new nonprofit that showcases the arts and musical talents of Kerrville's young people, 24 and younger. We've had them in actually a couple times. We've had some local bands. Turning Point is out of Kerrville. Carlos and Dan is out of Kerrville. Aaron Lacombe and J-Boy Adams are from here. And our first ticketed show was Jack Ingram in January. This is a picture of some of the kiddos from Big Seed, of them on stage and showcasing some of their art. And our next deal, we are working with the students from Hill Country Micro School. They're going to do a play here called She Kills Monsters, and it is actually this Saturday and Sunday coming up. And then we have another group, and these are Tybee graduates. They're called Hill Shapes, and it's more of a choreographed dance and production that will be June 3rd and 4th. But these kids are awesome. They are taking on every role. They even have their own electrician. They're running our soundboard, our light board, the design, and everything except for the director and the fight scene director. So if y'all haven't looked at buying tickets for that, that should be fun to help support them. At Christmas, we also did a Christmas program in collaboration with the Callow Foundation. We had 360 tickets sold for that on 2 different weekends in December. You got to come take your picture with Santa Claus, and that's Clint Morris's daughter. If that's not the cutest picture, I don't know what it is. And then you got to come across to the theater and watch a Christmas movie. We will not do that partnership with the Callow Foundation. They're going to do something else. So if anybody's interested in partnering with us for this very same program, come see me afterwards as well. And this one is getting ready to come up on May 13th. And this is a Texas touring artist through the Texas Commission on the Arts out of Austin. And this is the film and the pictures of Big Ben. And a gentleman wrote the original score for the music for this production. And it's narrated by an actor, and it is an awesome production. I know that it has appeared once at Shriner College a couple of years ago, and of course they have been dormant as well. So this will be in on May 13th. We will have our movie screen up for this as well, and that is not us, but it'll look very similar to that. So those tickets are available right now too. Our spring programming, we are partnering with the KACC downtown. They're doing a kickoff of their membership drive, and on Sunday, you're going to walk from the KACC out the back door over to the theater, and we're going to put on some music there. So we're excited about that partnership. This is a picture of our trial for trivia night, and it was extremely successful that night. So we'll be doing that on regular weeknights coming up. We have the Comedy Network. We've signed contracts with 3 comedians for June, July, and August. And we also have been working with Mindy Wendeley, her new company called Social Graces. She's already kicked off the junior high program, kids coming in, and she's getting ready for the high school kids to come in. And hopefully it'll lead to a cotillion type class, because we haven't had that in Kerrville in some time. Last fall, we had a back porch series, and we had 5 local bands. Like I said, we opened up the doors, and you can see that you can see them from inside and outside. Attracted a lot of different people, different age groups from all different socioeconomic groups in Kerrville. Those were free concerts to the public, so people could come in and take a look at what was going on. And this is our caliber events. We just talked about the theater options coming up. The next music, we have a dance band actually coming, Tons of Steel, on May 8th. We have Jade Bird, and all of us in this room are probably too old to know who Jade Bird is, but she is the next up and coming hot thing. If you want to impress your children or your grandchildren, buy them a ticket. She came over from Europe and got stuck in Austin during the pandemic and is getting ready to go home, but she has 10 stops on her US tour, and we got the very last one. It is going to be a Sunday night, so that will challenge some of us, but it's going to be a really fun show. She was on, okay, it's not Jay Leno anymore. Who's the late night guy? I'm old. Not Jay Leno, not David Letterman. Jimmy Fallon, thank you. Oh, we got younger people over here. She was on Jimmy Fallon and killed it. So she was a good show. We are selling a ton of tickets to the Austin zip codes because that's the closest that they can come get to see her play. Let's see, we've also got Jacko Pierce. If you spend some time in San Antonio, you may know Jacko Pierce. There's our comedians, all their different names and dates up there. And the next one. We are super excited to be on the cover right here of the Chamber of Commerce. What do you call that? The directory. Thank you. And that picture was taken by one of our volunteers. His name is Dale Leach. He's fairly new to Kerrville, and he is over the moon that his picture got chosen to put on the cover. So he comes into our shows and takes pictures when the band contracts allow it, and lets us use those. So as a nonprofit, we're very grateful for his talents. We're also going to co-host the August Mixer with Kerrville Hills Winery. So we're looking forward to that. And we're going to have our much anticipated but much delayed donor party and grand opening this, actually that should say October, that's a typo. It's going to be in October. So we had a capital campaign for anybody that donated over $1,000. We're putting their name on our donor wall just outside the doors. So we've extended that just a little bit. And we will also have a grand opening that month as well. We are still in campaign mode. We raised the $2.4 million for the construction, where the pandemic caught us was for the capital expenses. We have just about $1 million almost in debt for the sound, the lights, the curtain, the screen, and the projector to go on the screen. So we're still working on those things, but based on how our April is gone, we're getting there, and I think we've got a good plan and a different mix of things to find different people, different age groups of what they're interested in the theater as well. So if you would like to be a donor, come see me afterwards as well. I've got cards I can pass out. All right. Some of the other ways that we are sustaining the theater is through rentals. Kevin Bernhardt had a business showcase in here. It looked gorgeous. That's one way. Next one. My daughter actually got married in September, and she had her reception in the theater. We have not had any other weddings, but we've had a couple of phone calls. So hopefully we'll be able to rent out some more like that as well. We do rent out all the different parts of the theater. We have an upstairs conference room. We've got some very energetic and adorable girls that have rented the deck for Pilates and yoga now. We've got both of those going on different dates. We have an upstairs bar that you can rent just that for a private cocktail party. And then we have 4 suites upstairs as well that can be rented for different events. You can rent the upstairs, you can rent the downstairs, you can rent the deck, you can rent the alley, or you can rent the whole thing. And next one. And I was going to tell you who you can call for that. So the picture below, and that came out kind of dark, we have an executive director, Michael Kelleher. Y'all may know him. He used to work at End of the Hills. He started with us just about a year. He started in January of last year. So he is running the show these days. Katie McCarty, if y'all know Katie McCarty, she's a Tybee grad, graduated from Trinity, and she's super smart. And she's half Michael and I's age. So she can do things twice as fast as we can. So she is our box. She started as an intern and helped me write grants. And then during the pandemic, we got to hire her as she was still in Kerrville. And so she's our box office manager. She runs our website. She runs our ticketing software. And if you need anything, Katie is your girl. So she will answer the phone too most days. And then we're very fortunate. We hired Stacy Leopardi. She moved here from Las Vegas. She actually has a degree in what she's doing in event planning. And she and her young husband have a little boy, and we're super excited to be able to offer her a job, and she runs all of our event rentals. Sorry, the top picture was our board. Our board members are all from Kerrville. They all have one thing in common. They're very passionate about Kerrville, and in particular downtown Kerrville. They all bring unique talents, and they're very much a working board. And one of the very first things we got to do was go to the Paramount Theater in Austin. And they have mentored us along the way. We did a half a day of board training with them. They were very instrumental in the early design of the theater, if it needed to be fixed or non-fixed seating. And again, we wouldn't know how important that was with the pandemic coming, but having non-fixed seating is the route we went on their suggestion and our best bet, in order that we can utilize the theater for all different kinds of things, seated for a band type show or not seated for a rental opportunity. So we're very grateful to all of them. Our president of the board is Larry Howard. Kyle Bond is our vice president. Sarah just came off of our board, and so we're replacing our treasurer, and Steve Schulte is our secretary. But we have committees. If any of you are interested in helping us out, we have a programming committee. We're getting ready to start a film committee. If that is a passion of yours and you would like to help us pick out some of our programming going forward, I'd be happy to put you on a committee. All right, sorry, I went backwards. We also, Lori Reese said, please put a plug in for me. So we also have a group of volunteers who help us staff our events in the evenings. If you sign up to be a volunteer and will come about 30 minutes before the show and help everybody find their seat and their way around, you get to stay for free for the rest of the show. So she is building our volunteer committee, and you can also sign up for that on the website as well. All right, that is the end of my presentation. Did I talk too long? Nope. Okay. I will be happy to answer questions if anybody has one. On the deck? Outside on the deck? Oh, gosh, I don't know the answer to that. Probably, we don't have chairs for the deck yet, so we haul chairs from inside out there. But I'd say probably about 75 on just the deck. The deck is large, yeah. We did do we opened it for the Downtown Historic Business Association the other night, Friday night. We put a band outside on it, and we probably had about 100 people spread between the deck and the alley. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I should have, he asked me how many people fit on the deck. Sorry, I didn't repeat the question. Shoot. Are we gonna have any tours? How many of y'all came on a hard hat tour that I gave over the year? Oh, look at that. Yeah, we've done a lot of tours, and if you want to come see it, we will certainly show. It's best if we do it for a group rather than one-on-one, but that is actually part of Stacy's job now, is showing the theater inside. And we do offer a lot of free events so that you can come in and check it out as well. Yeah, be happy. Yes. You need to call Stacy, and we have been very flexible with those, but we are starting to get booked up, which is a good problem to have. Okay, so her question was, if you have a membership, do you get a rental discount? I don't believe so. So we do offer lots of fun things for our members. We have member nights only. We'll have a membership annual party coming up as well. And I think some of the membership levels get coupons to eat downtown and things, but I don't think it ties into the rentals. The corporate memberships do though. If you're a corporate sponsor, then you get to use the facility, and so that does tie into that. Yes, ma'am. Laura has it, and if somebody knows more than I do, please correct me. But the gentleman that ran the Kerrville Amusement Company is who started it in 1926. I believe his name is Bart. For some reason that sticks in my head. he had a contest on what to name it. And that's where Arcadia came from. And then I had a worker that was in the theater who swears that it was a relative of his and it was a woman's name. So there you go. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. She asked what the history was on the Arcadia. When the Arcadia opened in 26, it was vaudeville theater. I mean, Jimmy Rogers played there because he was living in Kerrville at that time. And then in 1929, it went through its first renovation. When you walk in, you could see that the bricks are one color almost all the way to the top, and then it changes to a darker pink as you get in there. So talking movies came out in 1929, and they had to raise the roof in order to put sound into the theater. So that was the second renovation. And then in 48, and then now ours. So we're getting close to the 100-year celebration. Yes, sir.
I know there's been a lot of famous acts on
You're asking me a trick question of the famous acts in the Arcadia. Seriously? So we've written a grant to a foundation out of Dallas that does historic grant opportunities. And I think we're going to get it, and it will pay to put storyboards all over the theater. The green room, the vaudeville portion underneath the stage is the green room, and that's where our entertainers go. I don't have a good picture of that yet, but we're working on getting one. And so I want all of those. If I'm not there to check a band in, they don't know that he played there. So we're getting ready to put that storyboard up in there. We need a storyboard in the Art Deco hallway and all throughout of what we salvaged from the project to keep and the history of it. So I'm just about that close to starting writing those, and I'm going to call you for your reference on who was famous in there. We'll look it up. I know Tony Navarro wrote an article about it as well. Yeah. Did you make it to the cry room?
No.
Yes, sir.
Well, in the 40s, the competition with the Rialto Theater, they cost 9 cents to go.
To the Rialto.
Money, you could go down for 23 cents and go to
The Arcadia. This was a hopping place because the Rialto got 3 different movies delivered to it every week, and the Arcadia got 3 different movies delivered to it every week. It was amazing. So Mindy Wendeley brought us a book. A bookkeeper kept the most awesome notes on every show, how many people attended the show, if it didn't do well, why? Was it raining? Was there an out-of-town football game or whatever? But there were a lot of movie opportunities in this town. 6 different movies a week. That's amazing. Yes, sir.
And you mentioned about program on Big Ben.
Yes, sir.
Could you elaborate on that a little bit? Is it just a movie, a slideshow, or?
It is both. It is pictures and video of Big Bend that a gentleman filmed, and then it is orchestrated by a band live on stage, and then it's narrated by an actor out of Austin. Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. They've done them for different areas. They're working on one for the Guadalupe River, and I'm like, hello, let's kick this one off here at the Arcadia. But he has several different ones, but that is the one that we're doing on May 13th. And that's a Thursday night, so that one's easy. Yes, do the online guests have any questions? We can turn you back on. It's a delay, gotcha. Sure. I will have to look that up and let you know. It is pretty sure it's not Matthew McConaughey, But you know, he brings his kids to camp here every summer, so, and I have a connection to that, so we might can start working on something like that. Nobody raised their hand. Awesome. Well, thank you again. I'm sorry, go ahead. Sing? No, that's not one of my talents. You do not want me to sing, no. Anyway, all of the information about being a volunteer, being a member, being a donor, checking out our calendar is on our website. And I've got a card over here if you want a card to walk out with, but it's www.thearcadialive.org. And like I said, most of the things that I talked about are tickets available now online. And if you have any questions, give us a call. We have a real cute phone number, 315-LIVE. Can't beat that. One of us will take your phone call and get you an answer. But again, thanks so much for having us out.
And thank you so much. If you're a native of Kerrville, or if you've been here a long time like me and you got to see the Arcadia at one time, it just is amazing after all this time of it sitting dormant to see it come back to life. And I'm sure that's why you named it Arcadia Live, because it did come back to life. And thank you so much for all y'all's hard work. It's just wonderful. We have a club business now, and one of the things that we're going to do is really fun. Our first thing, I'd like to invite Clint Morris up to the podium. Back when we were meeting every week and in person, we would try to honor local youth for their accomplishments, and we haven't been able to do a lot of that, but today is our first one. So he's going to tell you a little bit about our guests.
Thank you again, President Tammy. One of the most enjoyable things about living in Kerrville is opening up one of the local newspapers and reading a great story about a team or an individual or young people and their accomplishments. And recently I opened up the Community Journal and read about a young man, and I said, we got to get him here. And he is here with his proud dad. And he broke the bank as far as getting a college scholarship. And I think we'll all enjoy hearing about what he got, how he did it, and what he plans to do with it. So please join me in giving a warm Rotary welcome to Tybee Senior Jonathan Halpin.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today about what I've accomplished. It's really cool that the community is recognizing what I've put in and what I've gotten out of it. So as he said, I'm a senior at Tybee High School. I'm very involved in all the activities there. I'm with the band. I was drum major during the marching season there. I'm also a member of Air Force Junior ROTC there, where I'm the Corps Commander, took over this semester. And I'm also involved in Civil Air Patrol in Ingram, where I'm the cadet commander there right now as well. So that's kind of a good foundation for wanting to be in the military. So I was awarded a Naval ROTC scholarship valued up to $180,000 to attend Texas A&M University. Gig 'em. I was awarded that for a technical major, so I'll be pursuing an engineering degree. I'm still struggling to decide between nuclear and aerospace, but they're really exciting for me. But with this scholarship, they pay for my full tuition, all the fees associated with campus life. The only thing I have to come up with is living expenses like room and board. But I'm working on that. That shouldn't be too much of a struggle. So in order to compete for this scholarship, it's open nationwide to anyone that wants to apply that's a high school senior looking to be in the Navy after college. So what you have to do is you have to provide a history of your grades. You go to your counselor, get your transcripts. You get references from your math and science teachers or anyone that's kind of been a mentor towards you along the way. So I got my references. They gave me those and they wrote wonderful letters to get me there. You have to do a PT test. So you have to do how many push-ups you can do in 2 minutes, sit-ups, run a mile in times. And then after all of that, when you've met all the requirements for that, then you get to go to an interview with an officer. So I interviewed with someone out of UT. We did it over Zoom because of COVID, but it was really cool. And they interviewed me, asked me a lot of questions about what I like to do and why it'd be good for the Navy. And then you also had to provide a couple essays. So I talked about why I wanted to be in the Navy and why I want to be a leader. So needless to say, it was a little bit of work to get the scholarship. Also last week, I also got an identical scholarship from the Air Force. So now I've got to decide between the Air Force and Navy. So it's a good place to be in. Regardless, like I said, I'll be majoring in engineering at A&M. I'll be in the Corps Cadets there. So I'm looking forward to developing my leadership there as well. Be at all the football games and practicing my gigums every day. So also after college, when I get into the military, I want to be a pilot in either the Air Force or Navy. So I'll be working hard for that. And this summer, I was also one of the few cadets across the nation to be selected for Air Force Junior ROTC's Flight Academy. So what that is they sponsor me to go to an accredited university and get my private pilot's license for free, which is pretty cool. So I'll be doing that this summer in Iowa. It's a little bit far from Texas, but it's all right. So overall, though, I'm really thankful for y'all recognizing my accomplishments, and I appreciate everything the community has done for me. I'm so excited to fly, prove myself, and be a leader in this country.
What an amazing young man. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with us, and congratulations to your parents and your family. I have a few things that we need to do for club business. One, I would like to invite President-elect Jeff Harris to introduce our guest.
Thank you, President Tammy. Oh, geez.
I know.
I would like to introduce our guest that we have today, as I step back a little bit further. Jonathan, thank you for coming up and speaking. I'd like to introduce your dad, Justin, for being here. Thank you, sir. And pretty remarkable young man you have. Neil Masterson, you have a guest with us today. We'd like to have you introduced, please.
My friend for a long time, Rufus Hayes.
Mr. Hayes, thank you for being with us today. Mr. Masterson's guest is Rufus Hayes for our virtual members. Kelly Early, you have a distinguished guest with us. Dee Grenada, thank you for being here with us, ma'am. Ashley Phillips, we're gonna let you introduce your guest to us, even though we have an application for membership. So.
My guest again, and I just told her, that is part of membership is the
Yes, I think we introduced you quite a long time too, didn't we? So thank you. And our city manager, Mark McDaniel, you have a guest with us that also has a. Mr. Hoppy, thank you for joining us again. And Amber Thomason. Candace, thank you for being with us. And last but not least, we don't ever want to forget our visiting Rotarians, but Paula Johansson is with us today. And Paula, where are you from?
Well, my membership actually is in Sonora, California, which is up in Sierra. But we have California with on the street for full-time fee. So we are with Richard, Texas.
Oh, wonderful.
We'll be back in November, so November.
Perfect. We look forward to having you again. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff. For our Families in Rotary announcement, I have both good news and bad news. The good news is Captain Swire has been promoted to a major, so congratulations. The bad news is with that promotion comes a transfer, and he will be going to Florida, and his last day will be Father's Day here. So good luck to you, but we're going to really miss you. Stephanie Miller and I spoke earlier. We have no other Families and Rotary announcements. If y'all have some, I'm glad to share them. Okay, well, we'll talk about that later. The invoices, we talk about that every week. I'm not really trying to hound you, but I am trying to remind people to check their emails, make sure that you get your invoice. If you haven't gotten an invoice, let us know. We'll get you one. If you did get it and you check to see you haven't paid it, please get that paid. Thank you so much. And our Rise Against Hunger event is going to be May 8th. I'm really going to call on you guys for help because COVID kept us away from doing it. We had to cancel it last year. I was refusing to have to cancel it another year, which means that we had to wait. And now we're trying to rush. We want to get it while we still have some volunteers from Shriner to help us and the high school to help us. But we're going to need people to help package food. So that's May 8th at Hill Country Youth Event Center. Christy has put a sign up on our website, so please go and register to help do that. And if you can't or don't feel comfortable coming to package food, we are going to coordinate also a food drive. So you can bring in your car and drop off some food if you don't feel comfortable being in the food packaging. But I've never done one before. I'm a little nervous. I just want to make sure that we get that complete. And get that checked off our goal list for this year. Also, we are having a socially distanced picnic at the home of Jimmy and Becky Hutto. This is going to replace a Rotary meeting on May 5th. It will be a nighttime meeting or nighttime gathering. And so it's what our picnic was or has been in the past. That's what we're doing this time. We're going to use it as a way to safely be together again and doing something social. Our fellowship committee really wanted to have something after not being able to have something for so long. So that's what we're doing. And we thank the Huttos for offering up their home. There will be fajitas, there will be refreshments, and I think it'll be a fun time. So please make sure you register also to attend that so they can know how many people are coming. And then we have Christy Vandenberg. I don't know how many of y'all know her, but Christy is going to be our district governor. We have a lot of things to talk about that, but she's really working hard to be the best district governor that she can be. And that's including some leadership training that she's going to oversee on May 1st during the district conference. If you go online, you can register and attend for free this training session and any other portion of the district conference that you would like to see. It's a great opportunity because most members, as at least me, when I would come to meetings and wasn't active on the board, I didn't really know what was happening at the district level or even the local board level. It gives you a really good insight, and I think that you would be really impressed. And it's a good opportunity to do it at your leisure. I mean, it's at a time that they have said, but you could be sitting at your house, do it virtually. And it's free. It's a good opportunity. So I encourage all of you to do that. And more importantly, let's support Christy and attend her leadership training, which will also be informative. We have some other things to mention. Glenn Crane, on your weekly email that I sent out this week is a picture of us giving Glenn his Paul Harris Fellowship. For those of you that went to surprise him for his 97th birthday party, I have to tell you, it was just adorable. He had no clue. He showed up at the VFW post and just thought it was just crowded that night. Didn't realize it was his party. And he was really, really happy. It was really, really sweet. And he's had a really rough time lately, and it was awesome to see him smiling. And in my email, because I think it's so cute, I'm going to repeat it. I know I said it in the email, but when Christy was pinning him with his Rotary, his Paul Harris pin, he yelled at the guys and goes, "Hey veterans, look, I'm getting decorated over here." It was just super cute. So a lot of people brought cards. It was really nice, but look at that picture and you can see the look on his face, and we're so happy to have him. He's going to try to come back to meetings as he can. We also have to give away some wine. Okay. Mark Disdar, are you wearing your pin? Charlie McElvain, did he leave? Okay, online, David Martin, are you still there? Do you have on your pin?
Yes, I do.
Woohoo! Okay, It's gonna be at my office, or you can email me or text me and tell me how to get it to you, but we have some. We have a soft red blend for you. Okay, and so we also have district, we told you about the district conference beginning May 1st. We also have these tickets that Marta Diffin, our secretary, is selling. They're $10 each, or a packet of 10 for 100. You could win one of 7 prepaid gift cards, $1,000 gift cards. I know we've asked you to buy a lot of stuff lately. This is for district, but the most important thing about this purchase is it goes directly to or your Paul Harris, and our club is going to match those Paul Harris points. So if for every $100 of tickets you buy, that gives you 100 points, we're going to match it to give you another 100. If you buy $500 worth of tickets, we match it, you're a Paul Harris fellow. So I just want to point that out. Brenda Thompson has them in the back if you want some. We would like to see every Rotarian every year certificate earned this year for the foundation. This would go towards that. So I think that's all that we have. If anybody else has anything for the good of the club, let me know. Nope. So then if you'll join me in the, oh, I lied. Go ahead.
It's a lot of fun. It's little friend, see all the young people helping out, running around. Food, various locations, and it's right food. And it's simple. A lot of fellowship, and they really have a good time. They'll have a good time.
Thank you, Brian. For those online, Brian Truitt.
That's an interesting experience.
Okay, so for those of you online, Brian Truitt was giving an endorsement of the experience of participating in Rise Against Hunger. He said it was great fellowship and it was a lot of fun, and Clint Morris seconded that statement. So that's what you missed when we were quiet. Okay, guys, if you'll join me in the 4-way test of the things that we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?